Ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor of introducing your commencement speaker this evening. Our speaker is Mr. Shundrawn Thomas, President, let me repeat that, President of Northern Trust Asset Management and a trailblazer in the financial services and asset management industries. His responsibilities include developing long-term strategy, executing operational plans, cultivating client relationships, managing vendor relationships, and developing talented professionals. He also shares his time and talents as a mentor to budding financial executives around the world. Prior to joining Northern Trust, he served as a vice president at Goldman Sachs. In 2011, Black Enterprise identified him as one of the 75 most powerful blacks on Wall Street. Friends say Shundrawn's gift of discernment and mediation date back to his college days here at FAMU. He has always been fair and was a brilliant student and a problem solver. He pledged Beta Nu chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated at FAMU 25 years ago. We did not plan it this way, but another distinguished alumnus who pledged with Shundrawn, Rob Hardy, will be speaking at the morning and afternoon commencement ceremonies tomorrow. So as you can see, something very special was happening here on the Hill 25 years ago. We're grateful to Shundrawn for giving back to FAMU financially and for serving on the FAMU Foundation Board of Directors from 2009 until 2016. And when I say giving back financially, Shundrawn's pledged when he left our Board of Directors a donation of $100,000, and he's pretty much done with that. He serves as a board member and elder at his local church and enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 sons. He is a global citizen who arranges annual trips abroad for college friends and their wives. He could be in Switzerland, St. Bart's, Italy, or South Africa on any given day. But today, we're excited about the fact that he has chose to come home to the Hill and share his wisdom with you. Shundrawn received a bachelor's degree in accounting from FAMU School of Business and Industry and a master's of business administration from the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, please join me in a round of applause for our speaker this evening, Mr. Shundrawn Thomas.
First of all, let me say to President Robinson, the Board of Trustees, the Foundation Board, certainly all of the distinguished faculty, alumni, proud parents, family, friends, and then most of all, the esteemed class of 2018. It is truly, truly my distinct privilege to address my fellow Rattlers this evening. In 1965, Fred Smith was a Yale University undergraduate student, and he wrote a term paper that ultimately led to the invention of a new industry that revolutionized the way companies do business. Now, he had a simple premise. This premise was that businesses needed to be more effective at transporting time-sensitive shipments around the country and around the globe. Now, 6 years later, this same enterprising young man, Mr. Smith, decided to pursue his idea, and the company that we know today as Federal Express was born. Now, as with many things, the early going wasn't easy. He had to avert bankruptcy on several occasions, but ultimately he was able to build the company into a renowned global brand. Now, as I was thinking about my time this evening, the inspiration for my address tonight does not relate to his ingenious business concept, but rather a very effective advertising strategy. For those who might remember, the company's first major ad campaign was actually launched in 1978. And it featured a very clever slogan. They had television commercials that followed, and it blazed this campaign on the minds of millions and millions of people. Now, it said in very simple yet profound terms, this slogan that expressed the way that the customers should feel about FedEx, when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. Now, each one of us has arrived here tonight at a distinct intersection, enabled by what might be suggested as a divine intervention. While our respective paths that brought us together are indeed unique, this great university is the common connection that binds us all. For over 130 years, FAMU has been building a special legacy of excellence with caring. So, this evening, I want to compel you that this intersection of our journeys, it is not mere happenstance. See, whether you're a current student, whether you're an alumnus, a soon-to-be alumnus, and a loved one of one of the aforementioned, this stopover was time-stamped on your life's journey. As such, I want to speak briefly but leave you with this following theme. We absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. We absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. Now, I'm a rattler and I'm at home, so I need some people to speak back to me a little bit to know that you're awake, graduates, and I'm here at home. All right. So I'm going to try that one more time. Can somebody say absolutely? Can somebody say positively? Had to be here tonight. All right, now I feel like I'm at home. See, I want to provide some perspective regarding our intersecting paths. I want to conclude with some practical wisdom for you to apply during the rest of your journey. Now, specifically what I'm going to do 4 things. I'm going to talk about how I arrived here, number 1. I'm going to talk about how you arrived here, number 2. I'm going to talk about how we, the collective we, arrived here. And then finally, what I want to end with is what we must do now that we are here. First of all, how I arrived here. My journey began on the south side of Chicago. My father was a proud steelworker. My mother was a homemaker, and they together raised 4 children. See, for me, I came to know adversity early on in life. I can remember distinctly when the steel mill closed unexpectedly. And I can remember the financial hardship that brought to our family and so many others. But I was blessed, I was fortunate. I had loving parents who, while we didn't necessarily at that time have a lot of material wealth, they were rich in spiritual wealth. See, they instilled in me qualities of tenacity, ingenuity, and an unwavering faith. See, their living testimony let me know that I absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. See, I was an adolescent who was intellectually curious. I loved reading and writing, and I was fortunate enough to attend a magnet school that was known for academic excellence. But what happens sometimes when you're that kid, sometimes you're picked on. Some people looked at me, and because I was focused on my studies, they labeled me a nerd. Somebody here knows what I'm talking about. Others, they called me a square because I didn't cut class or get high. But you know, I learned I didn't hold those things against them because they didn't really appreciate my mission or my journey. They didn't recognize what I know today, that I absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. See, I grew up in the inner city, and I had to deal with all the inner city stripes. And I remember in my final year of high school being less than 2 blocks from my house, and a young man who seemed like he was not much older than me pulled a gun on me. He took everything I had, all my possessions, the coat off of my back. And when I think about a moment like that, no less than 2 blocks from my house, looking down the barrel of a gun, I realize the divine grace that covers my life because somebody above knew that I absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. See, as I went on, there was never a doubt in my mind. No one in my entire extended family had went away to attend a 4-year university, but I knew that I would. So the only question in my mind was, which school would I attend? And as fate would have it, Chicago was one of FAMU's largest recruiting markets outside of the state of Florida. See, FAMU somehow had the divine wisdom to even establish a feeder program at the high school that I attended. And so it was at a time that I learned about the groundbreaking business program that had been developed by the late Dr. Sybil Mobley. It was at that time that I was able to personally meet then President Fred Humphreys. Now, this might surprise some people, but at that time I knew very little about historically black colleges and universities before applying to FAMU. But you know, I ultimately chose FAMU over many prominent universities. See, I absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. See, when I got here, it didn't mean that everything about my journey was easy. See, getting here is just part of that process. The first way I got here, my longest trip outside of the state of Illinois, only the second time I had been outside of the state in my entire life, was a 24-hour bus ride on the Greyhound. Anybody know what I'm talking about? See, some of you all, maybe your story was you arrived here in style. I like to tell people I got here by any means necessary. See, FAMU was part of my destiny, the unique heritage, the culture of caring, the breadth of programs, the academic rigor provided an atmosphere where I could flourish. I played intramural sports. I participated in student government. You heard earlier, I was even introduced to Greek letter fraternities. I pledged. I thought I heard somebody say, "Oh, 6." All right, I'm not hearing things. See, I developed lifelong friendships. Most notably, I met my future wife at a small nearby college you guys might have heard of, Florida State University. Now, just so nobody gets it twisted, see that beautiful, proud Seminole over there? She is arguably the single most important reason that I absolutely, positively had to be here. See, though I had a formative experience here on this 7 of highest hills at FAMU, we also know that college days swiftly pass. But you know what, Dr. Robinson? Life does get better. See, based on the foundation that was built here, I've had so many incredible experiences in life. I've started businesses, I've written books, I've traveled the world. You know, I went from struggling through the course of a year to manage my $1,000 stipend and make that stretch, to today, I have the privilege of being entrusted with leading a business that manages $1 trillion for investors all over the globe. My union with that Seminole I told you about has produced 2 wonderful teenage boys who are budding potential FAMU students. And hopefully some of these things help you appreciate a little bit about my journey. See, what I realize is FAMU has been good to me. God continues to bless me. So that means, see, when I speak, or I hear the chorus, when I sing, FAMU, FAMU, I love thee. See, for me, it resonates in my heart and in my soul. And because of all those things, I know that I absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. Now, it's not just about how I arrived here, but I want to talk a little bit about how you arrived here, this magnificent graduating class of 2018. See, maybe your story or your journey is similar to mine. You're a first-generation college student. Better still, you're the first student in your extended family to go away to college and earn your degree. See, your entire community supports you and they're proud of you. They've faithfully supported you throughout your life and every step along the way. Some of them are even here today to commemorate this milestone in your life. And there are so many more back home that are celebrating your achievement. See, those people in your life knew you absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. See, maybe there's someone else here, you come from a so-called broken home, or you were in a single-parent household. You decided, though your initial circumstances were difficult, they would not define you or limit your potential. You excelled at academics. Your pursuit of excellence opened doors and new opportunities. See, today represents an important step on your journey, and your future today couldn't look brighter. See, you absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. Maybe you were that person that was deemed an average student. See, for you, books never seemed to come that easy. Maybe you played sports while you were in high school, but you didn't quite get chosen to make it to that next level. But you know what you did? You came and you worked your way through college. You balanced odd jobs alongside your coursework. Maybe it took a little bit longer. Maybe you won't receive all the highest honors here this evening. But see, when you look and you step back, your course, your distance traveled is so much longer and so much richer than others. See, the truth is, nothing about you is average. It never was. You absolutely, positively had to be here tonight. There's another person here. Maybe you're a legacy. You're among the third generation of people in your family to attend FAMU. Your parents met at FAMU. Your grandmother, the matriarch of the family, attended FAMU and was employed at FAMU. You were wearing orange and green before you could even distinguish the two colors. See, this is a special day for you and your extended family because FAMU, it's in your lineage, it's in your blood. See, there were those that were looking over you from the day that you were born, and they absolutely, positively knew you had to be here tonight. See, what I want to say to you is, however you arrived here, whatever your circumstances that contributed to you being here, they were all a means to an all-important end. See, what matters most is that you're here tonight. See, there was a prolific MC and a poet. Maybe some of you have heard of him. His name is Rakim, and he might have captured my sentiment best when he declared, "It ain't where you're from, what? It's where you're at." See, he understood that we all needed to be here tonight. There's a third part of this discussion, how we all arrived here. And see, we have a shared journey. Because again, over 130 years ago, with just 2 instructors and 15 students, a small single building, the State Normal College for Colored Students was established. And as we move through histories, we go through the 1890s when we officially became Florida Agricultural and Mechanical College. We moved to 1910 when it was the first time that people sat and were conferred degrees in a ceremony probably a little bit smaller than this. We go to 1953 and Florida A&M University. We became Florida A&M University. See, if you think about the growth from that single building, those 2 professors, those 15 students, to today, 54 bachelor's degrees, 33 master's and professional degrees, 12 doctoral programs, 156 buildings spread over 422 acres just on our main campus. See, we, the collective we, have come a mighty long way. The other thing I realize is while we have this treasured heritage of a historically black college and university, we enroll an amazing cross-section of diverse people from countries around the world like India and Egypt and Trinidad and the Netherlands and China and Brazil and Jamaica and the Bahamas. See, this mission, this creed, this excellence with caring, it actually extends to people of all colors, and our mission knows no ethnic, cultural, or geographic boundaries. And why would you say we take this trip down memory lane? It's because the path of purpose, pride, and persistence, this is not simply FAMU's journey, it's our shared journey. See, our journey is made possible because of those who came before us. We honor their legacy when we come across this stage, when we're conferred our degrees. Now, by the way, please don't embarrass your kinfolk by whatever you've planned tonight. See, there are trailblazers who came before us. They are part of the collective we, and they knew that we absolutely, positively needed to be here tonight. So the fourth and final thing, what must we do now that we are here? What must we do now that we are here? I want to leave you with a handful of things, 5 things to be specific, 5 simple words. And especially, I want to exhort this graduating class of 2018. You need to learn, you need to seek, you need to give, you need to love, and you need to serve. You need to learn, you need to seek, you need to give, you need to love, you need to serve. Learn. Class of 2018, you haven't finished learning. In fact, you've just begun. A commencement, the very word means a beginning, a start. So I want to implore you to learn something new every day. Remain intellectually curious. That means to seek knowledge and be open to different perspectives. You need to read like your life depended on it, because in some ways it actually does. You need to remain teachable, because there is indeed great wisdom in a multitude of counselors. The second thing you need to do is to seek. See, when it comes to work, you're going to leave here and you're going to pursue different professions, but what I want to encourage you to do is to find your vocation and not just an occupation. See, that's something that's very important and something I'm really passionate about. I just completed a book that'll be released next year on discovering joy in work. See, you need to discover joy in your vocation or your work. You need to find fulfillment, which is the intersection between what you're passionate about and what you're proficient at and what you prepare for. This is the key to being fulfilled in your work. And so when you give your hands, your head, and your heart to what you do, that's when you'll truly find fulfillment. The third thing you need to do is give. Now, you may have heard the adage, give until it hurts. But what I want to say to you this evening is give until it doesn't hurt anymore. I want to encourage you to give until you just feel downright giddy about giving. Don't give in order to receive. Give to those that have neither the means nor the inclination to give to you in return. All of you have truly been blessed with an opportunity set that, listen, not millions, but billions of people the world over will never see. And so your future blessings are a function of what you give and not what you get. And by the way, while you're giving, be sure to make sure you donate to FAMU. We've got a campaign going on right now, and FAMU is rising. And if we want to keep FAMU rising, if we want to keep building this great university in perpetuity, we've got to have a heart to give. And so I think there's a campaign going on where you can even text right now and even win something. Now, don't let winning that car be the only reason you do it, but believe in the joy and the responsibility that comes from giving. The fourth thing is to love. And I really do mean love, and I mean love people. I mean really, really love people. Love people because people are created in the image of the Almighty God. And we express our faith and our devotion through the love that we show for others. And now listen here. If you don't believe in God, my counsel to you remains the same, because you arguably have even more reason to love people because they're the closest beings to God you will ever meet. The final exhortation is to do this. It is to serve. It is to serve. See, there was a wise teacher who lived many years ago. And that teacher penned a letter to a group of former students. Now, that teacher, like most instructors, was a little bit verbose. But the teacher was full of wisdom. And if you read the letter that he wrote, what was prominent in the letter is this thought about service. This teacher described service as being important, something that we actually owe to God and owe to humanity. the teacher described being a servant like being a living sacrifice. It's interesting, in this self-centered culture that we have, some people think it's even ridiculous to really position ourselves such that we can be of service to others. Now, in my life, I've learned a lot, and as my position has changed, I've not only gotten a little older, but a little wiser. 23 years ago, I sat in the very same place that you all sit. And I was listening to the commencement address then of Cecil Murray. I never imagined I would have the privilege to serve in the same capacity. But standing here today, being so proud to be part of this Rattler family, being so excited to see what the future holds for all of you, I reflect and I say, God has been so good to me. FAMU has been so good to me. I have been afforded a measure of grace that I could never possibly merit or repay. Serving humanity with my whole self is indeed my reasonable service. Serving humanity with your whole self is indeed your reasonable service. Providing excellence with caring should define your journey. Now, if you allow learning, seeking, giving, loving, and serving to be the actions that define your life journey, I am confident that your best is truly yet to come. Now, as for me and this stop on my journey, I have to say, I'm absolutely, positively honored that I was able to be here tonight and to be here with all of you. I want to say God bless you all. God bless the class of 2018, and God bless FAMU. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Thomas. Please join me in another FAMU round of applause for your commencement speaker for 2018. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we have some special recognitions. At first, I want to begin by presenting the President's Award to Shundrawn Thomas, the President of Northern Trust Asset Management, for serving as our 2018 Spring Commencement Speaker, presented to him on this 4th day of May, 2018. Recognize Mrs. Lantania Thomas, the wife of our speaker, Shundrawn Thomas. Would you please stand and be recognized? She may have gone to Florida State, but she knows what color to wear when she comes over here.